money. I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
Hello and welcome to the Nerd Emotion. I don't know why I put my seatbelt on, but it feels like the right thing to do. So, I'm doing my truckers stuff. This is why I haven't uploaded a video. And I had my friend from Paul's Beer Reviews up, and Abby and the dog Chonks at the house this weekend. And I've been building furniture for Lydia. So, it's been a busy week. Yeah, so I haven't really uploaded much. I just did the last video about getting this Mercedes. So, where am I at with my truck driving stuff? So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing my theory stuff, my theory test. Not my actual theory test, but all the revision for it. So I've read all the highway code now. That was really boring. And now I'm doing all the theory test questions, possible combinations. I tried the theory test straight out the box just to see whether I'd pass or not based on what I knew, and I got 2 questions wrong, so it would have been a pass. However, the 2 things that I got wrong were both related to trucks, so I definitely need to learn more about that. So there's things like knowing what colour the airlines are connection wise on the back, knowing that what colour the service one, the emergency is, and some have an auxiliary air system. I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. Also, how to use a retarder brake, when to use your retarder brake, you know, not braking as you're turning if you're moving along fairly fast, otherwise the trailer can come out. There's quite a bit to it, and it was quite interesting. And yeah, just stuff like going over some of the old things, like, you know, your Pelican crossing, your Toucan crossing, you know, all those, you know, things and what the differences are. So yeah, so I'm doing that. So that is my project for the rest of today, apart from putting this video out. Also, you need to do something called a D2 and a D4 form. Now, these suckers you get at your local post office, are completely free. The D4, you have to go and get a medical done. So I did it for D for drivers, did mine. I went over to Wakefield. They checked my blood pressure, checked my glasses, checked my eyesight, made sure that I wasn't, you know, doing drugs or anything like that. You know, all the heart stuff that they check. And they check, you know, if you've had a history of substance misuse. That is pretty simple. The only thing that you need to do is make sure you sign the bottom of every page. And I think there's a declaration to sign on the back. So that's what you've got to do. And then this one's a bit fiddly-arsed, but that's a technical term. Am I holding it the right way? Yeah, I am. So the D2, it's just a little bit ridiculously complicated. So like first entitlement or additional provisional entitlement. So I was not sure what to do. So I was going to do a video filling out these forms, but to be honest, there's loads of good ones out there. So it's probably not content that you really want to see, but I'll tell you like what I learned. So basically, it's not additional provisional entitlement. It's your first entitlement. You want to, if you're doing lorries, you're doing your class 1, it's this box here, which is all lorry. We're not doing buses, so we're not doing that. And then pretty much, there's all this section here is nothing to do with you at all. And if you're sending your old photo card driving license, you don't need to do this either, if it's in date. You've got your address and stuff in there. And then here they want to know about your eyesight, so whether you need glasses. So technically I don't need glasses for driving, but I ticked it for lorry and bus anyway. So because I thought, well, if I was driving a truck, I would be wearing these, just because it stops me getting headaches and fatigue. Then the other part of the document is this bit on the back. It's basically they want to know some of the medical questions again, and if you have any learning difficulties or anything like that, you have to put that in there. Then you put in some ID if you want to, but actually, because I'm sending in a photo card, I don't need to do a lot of this at the top here, because while I'm sending it, I'm putting in my driving license, which is my identification. So you don't need to do that, and you don't need to put your photo in either. So you just need to sign in the box down there and make sure you date it, and that's it. So I've signed that, I've done that. That's gone off last week to the DVLA with my driving license. So hopefully I should get another photo card back, which is my provisional truck driving license. And I sent it recorded delivery, obviously, because it's got my driving license in it. And that is your envelope that will come with it. They're pretty good, the DVLA, with all the bits that, you know, they've got how to fill it in, and they've got, you know, about your medical and about tiredness can kill. Worth a read, because that is one of the things. I definitely do not want to be driving a lot tired. So yeah, that's one of the big things to learn, is about your rest periods and stuff like that. So that's what I've been on with. In the world of cars, my Mercedes is going amazing. I'm loving it. It's awesome. I found some really cool things, which I don't know. I'll try and do it here. So if I open that window and this window, if I'm driving along and there's smoke or something outside, or I don't know, I'm going into a queue of traffic in a tunnel. If I hold down the reset button, it puts the windows up. How cool is that? Totally unnecessary, but I like it. Also, I discovered, this is how long I've driven an automatic, that if you know, normally in an auto you pull up and you've got to keep your foot on the brake in traffic. Well, with this, if you kind of push the pedal once hard, then it holds the brakes for you until you press the accelerator. I was like, that's awesome. Also has a coffee cup, which is something to do with how tired you might be and when you need to take a break. And it's been doing fuel-wise, if I go into the computer, we have been getting 39.3 combined. It went into the 40s. When I went to Brid, and it went in up to 45.3 miles per gallon on a run, which I thought was great. But we've been doing a lot of town driving and been taking the kids to school. So today was an absolute mission, because the M62 was blocked. So we had to go a really weird route, which took 42 minutes. So it was sat in traffic quite a lot. And yeah, I've been sat here idling actually for ages. So yeah, it's done 29.9. But I have been sat here for ages. I've recorded this video once before as well, because every time I record, somebody rings me about something. So it's a bit annoying, but that's life. And car-wise, I mean, what's been going on in the news? I saw all the Rowan Atkins stuff. I kind of thought it was a bit ridiculous that they could attempt to blame the failure of EV sales on one celebrity. I mean, he was only saying what his experience was and what he thinks, and I don't think that that's wrong. And the same with there's is it Henry's Garage? He did a really good video talking about EVs and why he's bought a diesel Range Rover. So that was pretty good. And I know Jeff Buys Cars did something with Challenger Road, and they chatted about it as well. And you know, I've just been following it along, and there seems to be a little bit of backlash now it's like a pendulum, isn't it? It's like swung all the way. Everybody needs to buy an EV. Oh, it's got to, cars are the enemy. And then it's swinging back the other way. People are like, oh, hang on a minute. This is just like a way of taxing us. And it's the same thing. EVs, there were all these tax incentives for people if it's a company car. But in the private sector, there's not really anything. I think for me, they've got to come up with some better stuff than just a scrappage scheme for private cars. There was a thing in the news today in the Independent saying that the cars that were supposed to be scrapped, the British government's been exporting them to poorer countries and polluting their atmosphere, which I think is misleading, because if they're going out to poorer countries, surely those poorer countries will have even older cars. I don't know. And the other side to it is a lot of the cars have already paid their sort of carbon debt by getting a lot of miles on them. And let's not forget that the carbon produced in making a EV is a lot more than an ICE car. The other thing is, I saw another article and I just thought, the world's gone mad. This is another thing where the pendulum's swinging back. This would put me off. I like to go to Europe sometimes and drive. We do some road trips. Got friends in France, and we used to have a transporter van, and we drive it. We've driven down to France to see our friends, and it's great fun. But now they're saying that new cars and used cars, that are EVs will have to have a passport for their battery, which you'll have to produce when you go into Europe. So they want to know what's in the battery, what the degradation is of the battery, and what it's made of, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, so I don't know if that's something that the manufacturer will produce from new. So a bit like I've got in here. In fact, it's worth looking as well, people. If you're on ULEZ, you should have a document like this with your car, and it's this thing here, and it tells you it's a certificate of conformity, and it tells you all the things about weight and emissions and what the car was spec with. It's got a very catchy name. It's Über ist mang Sibishjingung. It just rolls off the tongue, I know. So in there, this is coming with the car from new, so it could be like that, but I've got a feeling it won't be, because if it's talking about battery degradation, then that's something that varies from vehicle to vehicle. Let me put this back down here. There's a little pouch that it goes in there. It's probably not the right one, but I like it now. So battery degradation is surely something that you have to check, I would think. Maybe I'm wrong. So if that's a check-in thing, then a lot of the cars, I think, if we're going to go down this EV route, that needs to be something that is like on the dash, that the vehicle is calculating, so you can see whether you're actually looking after your battery, or what the condition is, and how long until that battery dies. And then I think there should be like pointers on where you can get one from, and recycling centres. That's my view. Others might think differently, but that's partly why I bought this. I genuinely considered buying the hybrid version of this. There's so little information out there that I just didn't want to take the risk. Just way over the top complicated, and you just don't know what condition that battery is in until you get the car. So didn't fancy that. So yeah, that's another crazy thing. I just thought the world's gone absolutely mental. The truckers are at it again in America. So they've stopped delivering anything to New York. So the truckers are boycotting any deliveries into New York. Now, I don't know if they've actually done this, because I've only seen the same few clips bandied about, but we'll know by the end of the week whether that is what's happened. And it's something to do with, I don't understand it, but New York is suing Donald Trump for something for $35 million, and the truckers are upset because they were better under Trump than they are now under Biden, and they are up in arms about it, and so they're not doing any deliveries to New York State. So I don't know if that's true. It might be, it might not be, but I haven't really followed it in great depth. There's nothing really other than news articles to go on. It seems to be quite suppressed by the main media, so, but that's not surprising. There's a lot of fallout with farmers in the EU. There were a lot of arrests made, but I haven't heard anything that's kind of gone a little bit quiet. There's probably loads going on, but you know, obviously I can only go by what I can find. What else has happened interesting in car news? I think that's about it. The Formula One, obviously, they're all messing around with their cars. Hamilton has moved to Ferrari for his retirement. Everyone's like, he's not retiring. I don't know. I don't care. It's up to him. I think he's an outstanding driver. You've got, even the worst Formula One driver is a good is a good driver. You can't be really rubbish and just jump in one of them things. You've got to be at the top of your game. So yeah, what else? Oh, the Freedom 500, Cletus McFarlane, that looks awesome, and the lineup is wicked cool. And Misha's going. I don't know if you guys know who Misha is. He is the chap that goes around the Nürburgring with various people's cars, and yeah, he's going to do the Freedom 500, which is really cool, because I thought maybe Jimmy Broadbent would go and do it, or Super GT, but they're not doing it, I don't think. But yeah, Misha's going for it, so that'll be good fun. I've got a feeling he'll do all right, you know, because he's an outstanding driver, and I think there was a motocross series where British riders went over there, or European riders, and it was a bit of a shake-up for him. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And there's some cool stuff going on their channel. He's giving a helicopter away, so whoever wins gets a helicopter, which is pretty cool. And all that, you know, and I don't know how Misha's going to get that back to the UK. He might get a cash prize, but yeah, so that was pretty cool. So I might live stream that as a watch party. So if you fancy joining me for that, that'd be really cool. I love that channel. What those guys do is great fun. Yeah, old boy Sam doing donuts the other day in this car that was just a sleeper, that he looked like it was gonna tip over, but it was brilliant. I love all that stuff. I mean, gosh, man, yeah, cool stuff. We can't do much like that in the UK, but yeah, so yeah, got stuff like that to do. What else have we got? Yeah, I think that's about it at the moment. I've just got to crack on with my truck stuff. So next thing, get this license back, go and do my theory test, and I've got to do all the hazard perception stuff as well, and then I can be cracking on with my practical as well once I've got that provisional through. So yeah, so that's it really. So this video has been like 20 minutes long, so yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. And what time is it here? It's 10:22. I could go and get a cheeky double sausage and egg McMuffin meal. Right, on that note, I'll see you all later, you wonderful sausages.